Hello everyone and welcome back to today's video. So we are talking about Hurricane Henri. So even though it's spelled Henri, it's not Henry, it's Henri or Henri basically. So a little bit different than Henry. Nevertheless, it is over here off the East Coast basically. Obviously, it is just out obviously away from any land, which is a good thing right now. We do have a lot of swells and some dangerous recurrence currently along the actual East Coast, basically off of the coast of the Carolinas and spreading northward into the Delmarva Peninsula, and they will be continuing going up into the Jersey coastline and Long Island and eventually southern New England tomorrow. Now, today is Saturday, August 21st, and we do have currently Hurricane Henri, basically about 200 or so miles due east of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Now, we do not have any actual official, basically, rain bans coming onshore right now. However, if you are on the beaches in the Carolinas, Virginia, Delmarva Peninsula, going into parts of New Jersey, you do have a lot of swells coming up right now. It is very dangerous with a hurricane, even though it's not actually, raining and very windy, obviously, along the coastline. A lot of the swells that the hurricane is actually producing are dangerous, especially right along the actual immediate coastline. Red flag warnings are up for a lot of places. So if you are beaching over this weekend, again, today is Saturday, tomorrow is going to be Sunday the 22nd. A lot of places, especially north of New Jersey, going into parts of Long Island and southern New England, it's going to be just not the best beach day, obviously, at all. We are going to have the center of Henri coming into basically southern New England late tomorrow night. Now, right now, it's a 75-mile-per-hour wind category 1 storm. It does not look like it's going to be strengthening that much more, mainly because it is starting to accelerate in movement. The latest advisory I looked at, moving north-northeast about 12 to 13 miles per hour. So that does put this storm, if it does actually continue on its current acceleration, here into Long Island, basically the eastern tip of Long Island, somewhere around maybe about 5 to 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. Now, we are expected to actually have the storm actually slow down while it actually comes into parts of southern New England. It is going to encounter some little wind shear and obviously colder waters. So I do not expect the hurricane to actually make landfall as an actual hurricane. I think it's going to be really tricky to see exactly what happens. I do expect it to strengthen maybe a little bit more, maybe about 85 mile per hour, category 1 storm as it moves its way north. I think just off of the actual New Jersey coastline, that's where we're going to have the actual strongest, wind field and everything tomorrow afternoon. But tomorrow evening, when it makes its way just off the coast or just south of New England and Long Island, I do expect the storm to slow down in momentum and weaken just slightly. I think it's going to end up being a 70-mile-per-hour wind, very strong tropical storm that is not necessarily a hurricane. Now, if it does make landfall, okay, now Long Island is not New England, so no, would not officially make history because the last time that an actual Cat 1 hurricane or greater made landfall in New England, and again, New England comprises of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. The last time that an actual hurricane, named hurricane, of greater than 74 miles per hour landed in New England was exactly 30 years ago, in 1991, August of 1991, actually, when Hurricane Bob made landfall in southern New England. So, Henri has to be basically at least 74 miles per hour or stronger, and it has to land, obviously, in Connecticut or Rhode Island to officially make it the first hurricane since Hurricane Bob made landfall to be, a Category 1 hurricane. If not, doesn't really make, the history books for a hurricane, but, it would be a very impactful storm, regardless of the strength of, 70, 75 miles per hour. I know it's only 5 mile per hour difference and everything, but in, meteorological terms, it actually does make a difference just for record keepings and everything. I just think that with the slightly cooler waters off of Long Island in southern New England, I do not think that Henri is going to actually sustain its Category 1 hurricane status when it actually makes landfall in southern New England. We are expected to see it actually make landfall, I think, honestly, in Connecticut. There's Bridgeport, New Haven. What is the other one? The other one, oh yes, New London, obviously. Right along the coastline where 95 is. And then obviously parts of Rhode Island, Newport, watch out as well. And then further places a little bit inward. Pretty much all of Connecticut and Rhode Island are right now in hurricane warnings. And interestingly enough, New York City, the Big Apple, we are currently under a tropical storm warning. That has not happened in quite a long time as well. So very, very rare historic, events unfolding here in parts of the Northeast. Again, the main focus for the Hurricane Henri will be tomorrow's impacts, into southern parts of New England. Now, going into parts of Massachusetts and then lower parts of Vermont and New Hampshire, expect to see a lot of heavy rainfall. Eastern parts of New York State, again, New York City going up into Albany, expect about maybe 3 to 5 plus inches of rain. Power outages mainly confined to the actual coastline. This is not, a Cat 5 storm, so not huge impacts, not that widespread, but we are going to feel a lot of the effects going into parts of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Hartford, Providence, Worcester, going into Boston, obviously, and then obviously the Cape and the islands just offside the Cape and everything. Expect to see power outages throughout the evening. Now, the interesting thing about Henri, when it slows down, it actually could kind of linger around New England for the next day or two, Monday going into possibly Tuesday. So you're going to see a lot of possible flooding in parts of central New England throughout Sunday and Monday. Hopefully the storm starts to turn eastward on Tuesday and get out of here by the time Wednesday comes along. But it does look like it's supposed to actually slow down in momentum. So that means that we're going to have a lot of rain just wrapping around the whole entire circulation, even when the actual Henri weakens back into a tropical storm, depression, low pressure system, whatever it is. It's really not going to be, out of New England that fast. It's going to stick around for a couple days, maybe a day or so, possibly into Tuesday into Wednesday. So if you live in these places in New England, just batten down the hatches, or, if you can get out, maybe go somewhere else. If you have family, relatives, friends, or whatever outside of New England, may want to stay with them for a day or two. Now would be the time to go, Saturday, or early Sunday morning, get out if you want to. Come down here, come down to DC, okay? It's beautiful down here, okay? Or go down to the Carolinas, or Florida, or, anywhere else in the country, if you can, if you want to, if you, have the time, the money, if you want to see relatives, family, or friends, or whatever, honestly, just do so, because if you're in the path of Henri, it is going to just be a mess over the next few days. Again, widespread flooding, power outages, a lot of wind. We're expected to see beach erosion, up and down, Long Island, southern parts of New England, even parts of the eastern shores of Massachusetts and Cape Cod. We are expected to see a lot of impactful stuff coming from the hurricane / tropical storm. So this is your update, basically, and just stay safe, stay indoors, don't be out on the roads. Again, with the strong winds, could knock down trees, power lines. If you're actually right on the coastline, you're going to see a lot of inland flooding, so please just stay out of harm's way. It's not the day to go out and take a picture, obviously, of the storm. leave it to the professionals to actually go out there and report on what is happening and everything. But if you are someone who is not familiar with hurricanes, tropical storms here in New England, specifically, just stay inside, bunker down if you can over the next several days, because it is not something you want to go out and report on. Basically, again, leave it to the professionals. So that is your actual update on the actual storm. Again, possibly historic. If it lands in New England somewhere, anywhere in New England as a Cat 1 storm, it would be the first time in 30 years since Hurricane Bob. Please stay safe out there, everyone, and I'll see you back again very soon. Take care.